Going back to work, what you should know. Do you remember the headlines from early 2020, the ones before COVID became our focus? They look something like this. Insert the name of nearly any big research group here. Predicts that tens of millions of Americans will lose their jobs to automation by 2030. The number moved around a bit and was still a major focus for quite a while during the beginning stages of COVID. But 2 years ago, it was the main focus of the economy. How was the US going to find work for all those displaced and replaced workers after robots started ruling the world? Then tens of millions of Americans were put on an involuntary sabbatical, and when they were all supposed to come back to work, they didn't. Whether you call it the Great Resignation or the Big Quit, the COVID vaccine started making its rounds in early 2021, and the big motor that is the world stage started its torturous way back into motion. But far fewer people jumped back into the fray than expected. An average of 3.9 million Americans quit working each month in 2021. 38 million Americans quit working in 2021. While the average American's focus has been on jobs in the hospitality fields primarily, because it is hard to ignore when our favorite restaurants closes or is unable to continue being open for the same hours, the numbers indicate that the highest percentage of turnover is in tech and healthcare industries, two industries notorious for their high burnout and excessive workloads. With a now hiring sign on nearly every business with extreme bonuses, even daily paychecks, you might be thinking, should I return to work? After all, unlike the Great Recession, being over 50 is no longer as big a deterrent for company hiring programs. The Great Resignation may turn the tide on ageism, and some employers will look at you if you have gray hair and an extensive work history, when just a short while ago, they were quick to show you the door. We've heard this before. America needs you. But do you, in fact, need work? Reasons to return to work. You're bored. Work often provides a sense of purpose. At the very least, it provides a reason to get out of bed, but it also provides companionship in the guise of fellow employees, new experience or events, even new foods or environments. Humans as a whole need a sense of purpose and enjoy feeling like they are valued and play an important role. If your work environment highlights that sense of worth, it can make you feel younger and keep you from being depressed about your favorite store closing or that travel requires such effort before you actually travel. You need the income. Let's face it, living is not cheap. Going back to work stretches retirement funds, provides the ability to pay for unexpected expenses, and even gives you income to pay for new interests. Unfortunately, there are downsides to returning to work, and they aren't all about a renewed need for caffeine to kickstart your day. What you don't want to do is return to work only to discover that the cost-benefit analysis indicates you lose more money than you gain. Social Security impacts. About a third of all Americans begin collecting on their Social Security before they reach full retirement age. Full retirement age changes based on the year you were born, but let's say you were born in 1957. As an aside, you can go to this link to see how your benefits are affected by the age you file for benefits. And that would be ssa.gov/benefits/calculators. As defined by Social Security, your full retirement age is 66 and 6 months. If you are like the majority of people, you may have started collecting those benefits earlier than that age. If you are collecting your benefits and are still under that full retirement age, there's a limit. Security benefits in 2022, that limit is $19,560. For every $2 you make over that limit, $1 is withheld. The good news is that once you have reached your full retirement age, that money is returned to you in a higher benefit amount. Here's a Social Security update that explains that in more detail, which you can find at ssa.gov/pubs/en-05-10003.pdf. This explains that in more detail. The bad news is that you were counting on your payment remaining the same. It can be a bit of a shock. Once you reach full retirement age, that limit changes to $51,960. And for every $3 you make over that threshold, $1 is withheld from your benefits. Again, you reap the reward later, but you have to take into consideration whether that is a gamble you wish to take. Medicare charges. Once you reach 65 years of age, you are eligible for Medicare. Extra income after age 65 can trigger additional costs for Medicare Part B premiums. As an individual, you can make $88,000 before it is triggered. As a married couple, you can make $176,000 before it is triggered. The same limits exist for Medicare Part D premiums. The government looks back 2 years prior to adjust those premiums, so they may be in for a surprise down the line. What if your employer pays for medical benefits? As long as your employer provides acceptable medical coverage, you can drop Medicare without a penalty. However, it's not as simple as all that. Pre-existing conditions may prevent you from getting the same type of coverage when you return to Medicare. You won't be able to contribute to a health savings account. You may have to repay some benefits, and you cannot disenroll from Part B without doing the same with Part A. If this is sounding confusing, you'll understand why making the decision to disenroll requires speaking to Social Security while filling out the disenrollment form. Once you make the decision to return to Medicare, there are special rules. The main one to be concerned about is that you have a window of opportunity. After that window, you could face penalties and an extended waiting period, depending upon if you attempt to re-enroll outside the Medicare general enrollment period. Retirement accounts. After age 72, as of 2022, required minimum distributions, also known as RMDs, come into effect on retirement accounts you are not continuing to pay into from a current employer. While you don't have to worry about any account you are continuing to pay into with a current employer, any other account that you had set up will require an RMD. Forgetting to take that distribution creates a 50% excise tax on the amount not distributed as required. This does not pertain to Roth IRAs. If this is the first you have heard of RMDs, there's an IRS detailed explanation found here, or you can go to the IRS website and look up RMDs. The good news: returning to work after retirement or remaining at work after retirement age provides opportunities to build up resources, keep active, and stay engaged. If you lost your job or you retired from your job and you are considering returning to work, the current hiring crisis is to your benefit. Companies that previously did not offer benefits to part-time employees have added or amped up their benefits. You may be able to return to school, receive sick pay, work flexible hours, work from home, or receive a host of other benefits that weren't offered just a short while ago. In addition, some of the hidden but very real ageism that existed in companies is being forcibly removed, not by laws, but by the reality that companies may have no better options. People who felt locked into jobs with no options have had some of the ceilings keeping them in place smashed. But beware that the decision to return to work requires due diligence. Go to page 12 for Medicaid help when returning to work.